Hello whisky fans, hello malt mates, welcome to the Bothy. And before I go any further, just to let you know that recently on the island where I live, there was a major international motorcycle road race. It's called the TT, which means Tourist Trophy. And I've had a long acquaintance with this event. It is extremely risky for the participants, and many a highly experienced and capable motorcyclist has wiped out, their words not mine, wiped out during the races and not survived it. It's what you get. The island is in a difficult place at the moment, and I know this is still a distraction here, but hear me out, because when do they conclude the TT? Do they conclude on a really good year where there's no fatalities and really impressive riding? Or do they wait for a bad year where perhaps 6, 7, 8 fatalities are recorded? So it's an interesting one, but it certainly absolutely changes the island. There's about 40,000 people from all over the world come to the island. And it's a small island, by the way. But the excitement of the racing is just phenomenal. This year, a few of the spectators were seriously hurt when a motorcycle hit the barrier fence. And it's one of the features of the Manx TT, the Isle of Man TT, that people get to watch the racing. It's you don't pay for a ticket for access. You pay for your accommodation, your ferry over, which is pretty expensive, and you pay for the atmosphere and seeing what is, without doubt, some of the most extraordinary motorcycle racing in the entire world. And that's what it is. And the reason I'm mentioning this is that there's a phenomenon at the end of the TT called TT tummy, and I've got it. It's not a conventional cold, it's not blocked my nose and destroyed my taste buds. I'm already getting better now, but it causes a lot of aches and pains in my joints. And what I do to deal with it is what I highly recommend to you to deal with such a thing. And that is actually really take time out to get better properly. Remember, if you happen to be working and your employer wants you back in the office or on the job literally the day after tomorrow and you're not ready for it, if you have a problem during your work, you'll be held liable by your bosses, because that's the way it goes. You can hold me liable for this. This is Benrinnes. Benrinnes from Signatory Cask Strength. Have this distinctive wide-capped cork. There it is. I find from experience it tends to disintegrate a little bit slower over time than standard corks. And you have a broad-shouldered bottle, and I'm now going to pour a little glass of this. Oh my goodness. I bought this in 2020, in April 2020, at the beginning of pandemic lockdown. You'll remember that, but never forget, Sweden never ever once had a pandemic lockdown. So their economy survived. Many others haven't, and we'll be seeing more of that before too long. This is Benrinnes Cask Strength. It's an older bottle. I bought an older bottle because I thought, pandemic lockdown, there's going to be more people stuck at home watching my videos. That was my theory. So this is one I bought for the stash, but it really just didn't fit in to what I was wanting to review. In other words, it stayed in the shelf and is part of a stash series, which is whiskies that have been bought at auction and at retailers a few years ago, and now I'm just getting round to drinking them. Well, this is a perfectly good example. 23 years old. This was distilled in 1996, January 1996, and bottled in March 2020. So, quite a length of time in the cask. And by the way, see with Benrinnes, that's important. And I'm going to come back to that shortly. So welcome, malt mates, to review number 1133. I'm Ralphie in the Bothy, and I'm going to nose this and taste this and give you a little bit more information about it. Completely unpeated. Oh, could you excuse me a second? Right, Fluff. Right, Fluff. I know you've been missing me because I've been in bed for the last couple of days. But I'm trying to get my reviews done. Could you jump off the barrel without knocking my bottle or my glass over? You're usually quite good at that. Good for you. He's very, very different from his brother. He is the little he-she cat. He's very ladylike in his manners and his way of eating and his way of scouting around the house. I'm very, very, very lucky with my cats. But there again, I helped it to be lucky by going for muggies rather than pedigree cats, because one of the heartbreak for many cats owners is that the pedigree cats tend to be subject to health problems and at times personality problems. If you're getting a cat, get a muggy. Right, no looking back now, let's get stuck into this review. It is very barley sugar, complex barley sugar, 23 years of maturation. It's been matured in a hogshead, cask number 11715, bottle number 247 of 287 bottles. So it tells me, first of all, when I'm looking at the number of bottles gained from this and the fact that it's a hogshead, that this has been matured in a smaller cask and therefore maturation activity has been higher. Now, if this had been matured in a butt, right, which is the largest cask they use in Scotch whisky, generally, then it would be younger tasting. But this one, it's a hogshead, it's why I picked it. It is full flavoured, it is absolutely rich on the nose, completely unpeated, fudgy, toffee, loads and loads and loads of barley sugar. Tons of barley sugar. This is a very concentrated whisky. It's been bottled at 52.6%. So there's been a significant, well, it's not actually been too bad. You know, there's air got into the cask as time's gone on, which will actually help to oxidize it a little bit more and bring out the ripeness of the whisky. So I think it is already off. We're off to a good start. I would have liked to have been tasting this more before reviewing it for you, but nature intervened. Tiny drop in the tongue. Dry. Not flinty, not sour, just dry. Dry and dusty. So we're going to put some water into this. I'm sure you've heard from others, although you won't hear from me, that you should add very little water to whisky, because the stronger the alcohol, the stronger the flavour. And that's true. But of course, the alcohol is intervening in that flavour and stinging and numbing your palate. Now, I'm actually going to put another 5 millilitres. Here we go, another 5 millilitres. I am not afraid of water. The physimetry in this cask It's been fantastic. Pouring it into the glass, I can already see just a slight cloudiness appearing. So when they say it's not been chill filtered, they mean it's not been chill filtered. One of the clues with a distillery as to whether they authentically unchill filter is to ask them where they get their whisky bottled. Now, if they get their whisky bottled at an industrial unit in the centre of Scotland, in Glasgow or Edinburgh or somewhere in between, you've got a far greater chance that they will use on being asked, oh, please don't chill filter it. They'll say, no problem, we'll just put it through the filter machine, but we won't chill it. And basically, we're keeping things on the safe side. Signatory bottle their own. Springbank bottle their own. This is why you find such voluptuous, thick and dense misting happening in the whisky. And not only that, but the prices are pretty good. So if you notice for the remainder of this year that I'm reviewing smaller distilleries and independent bottlings more often, well, you have a good reason. The reason's simple. I don't want to be disappointed. And I've been disappointed over the last couple of years. Now, I've given this about 10 minutes now. It's settling down. Plenty of water in it. When it's diluted, the flavours don't leave immediately. They need time to leave. Usually about an hour and a half. They won't just suddenly disappear. So when you're cutting your whisky, you're actually coaxing out the concentration and the energy of that whisky in its high alcohol form. And the consequence is that you simply get more dynamics, and you will also notice that the sensation range is more intense. With cask strength, unchill filtered whisky, you simply get more of everything. I do tend to repeat myself with that. But there's a reason, malt mates. If there's one single piece of information above all others that I need to give you, it's the benefits of not being chill filtered. Because big companies, they want passive consumers. That's why they call them consumers. And they have special events, and they have it, and it's we've got a superstar blender, and it's very prestigious, and it's also very exclusive. These tired, sad old cliches that have been used in the fashion industry for years but are now failing. Something like that. Now we've added extra water. There's getting a little bit cloudy in there. A lovely, bright, intense colour. This whisky's taken up a lot of activity from the cask. It's an active cask. It's become more lemony, gingery, barley sugar. Barley sugar is holding this all together in the background and will throughout. And you may be wondering, Ralphie, why is Benrinnes quite highly rated amongst whisky drinkers, so long as it's not an official bottling? And it's down to the quality of it, the actual quality. If you were only a couple of years into whisky, you'd find this aggressive. I can assure you of that. Just aggressive. Nose. It's softened. Lemon oil, lemon juice, grapefruit juice. Very soft cola notes, fudgy notes, but not sweet, completely not sweet. Barley sugar absolutely dominating. And there's a reason for this. Benrinnes has a little bit of a quiet reputation. In my next review, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it and give you some advice to help you discover these whiskies. Last taste before the malt mark. Sharp, elemental. This is a dramatic dram. It's not to everybody's taste. It really, really isn't. But a word of advice here, that once you've had your first few drams and you're not sure what to make of it, just put the bottle cork on and leave it. Walk away, come back in a few minutes' time, and you will find that this whisky has softened beautifully into something wonderful. Let's give it a malt mark. Oh, 87. There you have it. What a banger. A joy, a delight, real whisky for real whisky drinkers. What more could you ask for? See you soon.